Good morning, everybody. This is such a cool time to be a technologist in our industry. And everyone is talking about asking questions of your data with AI. But I want to talk a little bit about the reality gap most of these demos that you see ignore. This is what most AI demos look like. Clean, organized, manageable. 10 tables, maybe 20. Simple relationships. Natural language queries that work beautifully because everything's been set up perfectly. It's like a planned neighborhood. Every street connects logically. You can see the whole layout, and the navigation is straightforward. And these demos are incredibly impressive, but they're not your reality. This is what your reality is and what you're actually dealing with. Not a planned neighborhood, a sprawling metropolis that evolved over decades. You're running an enterprise where a single business decision requires understanding relationships across hundreds of interconnected systems. That customer entity, it touches dozens of platforms, financial records in one system, operational data in another, and performance metrics in a third, each with its own schema, its own definitions, its own version of the truth. Your average enterprise runs over 200 different SaaS applications. For the larger guys, it's probably over 400. Each creating its own data silo with its own API, its own data model, its own way of representing the same business concepts. This is a real challenge for AI. It goes beyond data. It's a knowledge problem. Your AI needs to understand the business meaning behind those connections. Context that takes your best analyst years to master. Regulatory requirements, seasonal patterns, competitive dynamics, operational constraints, and they exist nowhere in your schemas. For thousands of tables, that's millions of relationships and billions of contextual rules that define how your business actually operates. And this is why most enterprise AI initiatives fail to scale beyond proof of concept. Not because the AI isn't smart enough, but because they haven't solved the complexity challenge. They lack the knowledge foundation that lets AI understand their enterprise. There's good news though. Organizations successfully deploying agentic AI are seeing extraordinary returns. Often we're talking about over 4 times the return on investment within 11 months. But the reality is stark. 95% of these projects are failing. Only 5% achieve rapid revenue acceleration, and every month that goes by, the gap gets harder to close. AI-enabled competitors are making faster, better-informed decisions at scale, while others are stuck in pilot mode. But why the massive gap? It goes beyond AI tech. It's the foundation that makes autonomy possible. These folks didn't just throw AI at their existing complexity and hope for the best. Those who succeed, they gave AI the foundation to understand their business, not just query databases. And that foundation, it's not magic, it's a journey, one with a clear roadmap. So how do you navigate from chaos to capability? Let me share how we think about the AI autonomy journey. Like autonomous driving, data autonomy isn't binary. It's not a switch you flip, it's a journey through distinct levels of capability. Think of it like autonomous vehicles. Highway driving got automated first. City streets, still evolving. And parking lots are somewhere in between. The same principle applies to your enterprise AI journey. And I can't stress this enough. You don't need to move your entire enterprise to level 4 at once. Different domains will achieve different levels of autonomy based on their maturity, complexity, and business value. Your supply chain might reach level 3, while customer service is at level 2 and financial reporting is at level 1. And that's not just okay, it's smart. This is where most of the market sits today in level 1. You ask a question in natural language, the system converts it to SQL and gives you results. But like early driver assistance, you're doing all the real work. The system might show you 3 different interpretations of your question and answer. You pick one, it returns results, but you validate whether they make sense. You're essentially the driver with basic cruise control. The system maintains speed, but you're steering, navigating, and making every decision. With level 2, now we're getting somewhere. The system starts to understand context, yours and your company's, and it can handle complex scenarios more independently. Instead of showing you multiple query options, it'll evaluate them internally and deliver the best answer with confidence. It understands not just your tables, but your business relationships. The system knows that when you ask about customer value, you mean lifetime value, including service costs, not just revenue. You're still supervising, but you trust the system to handle the context and complexity. Your hands are on the wheel, but the car's doing the driving. So in level 3, this is where things start to get transformative. The system doesn't just answer questions, it suggests which actions to take. When it discovers customer satisfaction is dropping in a region, it doesn't just report it. It recommends increased network capacity in these 3 cells, or offer retention packages to these 500 at-risk customers. This system understands your business processes and strategy, making smart recommendations for you to execute. You set the destination and decide which actions to take, but it handles the analysis and planning. Now in the future state, level 4, this is like a fully autonomous robotaxi. You simply state your business objectives, and the system handles everything within defined parameters. Optimize customer retention while maintaining 40% margins is a thing you can ask for, and the system will continuously monitor, analyze, simulate, decide, and act. It identifies at-risk customers, deploying retention strategies, measures outcomes, adjusts tactics, all autonomously. It even tells you when it encounters scenarios outside its parameters. You're not driving anymore. You're not even in the driver's seat. You're focused on strategy while the system handles execution. Now, here's something critical. The hardest part isn't the AI. It's building the knowledge layer that makes autonomy possible. Think back to that sprawling metropolis, your enterprise data landscape. First, you need the roads. That's integrated data. Autonomous AI requires seeing customer behavior, operational metrics, and financial performance not as separate domains, but as one connected reality. When your data is scattered across dozens of systems, you can't get where you need to go. Second, you need to know which roads to take. This is the knowledge layer. Your database might know table A connects to table B. That's just the road. But it doesn't know that a spike in support tickets often signals a billing system issue 2 weeks before finance sees the impact. That's wisdom. Like an experienced taxi driver who knows when to avoid certain routes. Your AI needs business context that exists in the heads of your best analysts. Third, you need speed. When AI is evaluating millions of relationships across thousands of tables to make a single decision, milliseconds matter. Like in a city, having the right route doesn't help if you're stuck in traffic. Your AI needs performance at enterprise scale. You need all 3 of these things: an integrated foundation, the knowledge layer, and the performance to operate at the speed of your business. And this is where Teradata's heritage becomes your competitive advantage. We've been solving the exact challenge that AI autonomy now demands: integrated high-performance access to all your enterprise data, not fragments of it. Our platform was built for this holistic view from day one, and we've spent 40 years modeling the relationships between business initiatives, strategic questions, industry KPIs, and complex schemas across industries that you heard Samit talk about this morning. We understand how network performance connects to customer satisfaction in telco, how supply chain disruptions impact margins in manufacturing, how credit behavior reveals cross-sell opportunities in financial services. While others are discovering that enterprise complexity is hard, we've been mastering it with massive scale, with extreme performance for decades. This isn't a new problem we're learning how to solve. It's the problem we've always solved. And it's also the wall most organizations hit. They have data, but not knowledge. They have AI, but not understanding. And this is the challenge we're tackling: building the roads, the wisdom, and the speed. And I want to show you what it looks like when you start to bring them all together. I'm thrilled to invite onto the stage one of the smartest guys that I get to work with, Artur Baritsky, our VP of AI R&D.
So let's talk for a second about the knowledge layer, as Luis was highlighting. The interesting part is we had to start with something. So what we've done is we ask telecommunication customer to share their schema. As you can see, this is not 10 tables, 200 tables. This is 17,000 tables. As you can imagine, they're coming from the source systems up to the access layers and analytical schemas. They're really complicated. Of course, they have duplication. We all know that we have duplication in the data. But we had to really address this problem from the enterprise perspective. What we've done next is focus on constructing the graph structure to identify relations. And this is where the business value framework from Teradata comes handy. We have thousands of business questions and KPIs. But we couldn't just take them and map them to your data model. So what we've done is we build a graph of relations by combining descriptions from logical data models and doing different algorithms to identify relations and build this as a graph. And this allows us to expose to the LLMs and agents a way of the users to talk using the business questions, the KPIs. And in the future, we're going to also enhance this by adding transformation rules so that the agents can understand how certain KPIs have been derived from which source systems. And then, of course, we leverage semantic mapping and the schemas which you show. So let me show you how this works. So of course, I'm being graded by my lovely agent. Now, the agent understands my context, who I am. So what he's doing is basically giving me some advices because he knows what typical domains of data I'm looking for. So he's saying, this is the type of data you have. This is the domains. What do you want to do? In this case, I was asked to look at the traffic per revenue per operator services. So I'm asking this question so that I can see the result. As you can see, I'm not doing any technical question. This is a pure business question. Now, what is happening in the backend? The agent is identifying relation between this business question and your data model, generating a plan with the query, executing query against Teradata system, and we instructed the agent to make sure that he's providing results in a raw format, as well as thanks to the cloud code, and the desktop generate the visualization of it. And that gives you, as a human, sometimes you prefer to look at the bar charts versus the raw data, so we give you those two options. But we train the LLM to make sure that he understands that this is what I'm expecting, to see both elements. But the true magic is this is not text to query. What is really happening here, we also are advising LLM by saying we understand that those business questions and KPIs are also related to each other. And because you have additional data, like a billing elements, we can start saying, there's additional data, they are related question. And in this case, I'm going to choose the average age of build events, which is the KPI 147. So you can see this is the value of using the graph structure to understand the relations. And now, similar to previous step, what is happening is the agent is identifying the data set, building the plan, generating the execution of the query. And it will also show me the result similar way to previous in the raw format, as well as ask Claude to generate the visualization. Excuse me. But the really power of this is that, as I was saying, we understand all those relations. And of course, there may be some elements where we have to also evaluate how accurate are the results. But the true power of this demo is that, as I said, it's not a text to query. It's also the fact that we instructed LLMs to make sure that they provide summary of the problem, summary of the results, key findings, potential opportunities, as well as let you decide. Do you want to continue asking those questions? Or maybe you are done. In this case, I'm done. I have my answers, so I don't have to really ask any follow-up questions. And this is a true future of intelligent data. Because look at this. The agent is allowing business users to ask questions, understand those problems without single technical statements. As we know, business users don't understand terms like table, data set. They talk business. And that's what we are doing as part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Artur. That right there, discovering business insights you didn't even know to ask about, guided by a system that gets your business, that's level 2 autonomy. solving real complexity. What you just saw with telco is one example, but this approach scales across every industry and business domain. Whether you're detecting fraud patterns in financial services, optimizing patient outcomes in healthcare, or predicting equipment failures in manufacturing, or even personalizing customer experiences in retail, the same principles apply. Contextual understanding, cross-domain question discovery, and trusted insights without technical complexity. Now, we have the opportunity to bring all that deep industry experience directly into business advisor agents. Not generic AI, but agents that know your industry's unique challenges and opportunity. This telco example is just the beginning, but how do we get from level 2 to full autonomy? That requires something more. The answer isn't building one massive, all-knowing AI. It's orchestrating agents that work together, each excellent at their domain, all connected through that same integrated foundation. At the heart of this system are business advisor agents, and these aren't generic AI constructs. They're tailored to your industry and customized to your business. A business advisor for healthcare understands domains like claims management, fraud detection, and patient care. One for financial services knows fraud patterns, risk models, and regulatory requirements. What makes them powerful is that they learn your business, your specific KPIs, your strategic priorities, your operational constraints. They become like your best domain experts, but operating at AI speed and scale. These business advisors work within a broader agent ecosystem. Data analyst agents identify patterns. Compliance agents ensure adherence. Optimization agents balance trade-offs, all collaborating for your integrated data foundation. And this multi-agent architecture is how enterprises will achieve level 3 and level 4 autonomy. Not by building bigger models, but by coordinating intelligent agents that know your industry and your business. At Teradata, we're building these industry-specific business advisors in the orchestration layer that makes them work together seamlessly, because that's what real autonomy requires. Now, you might be wondering, is this real? Can we actually do this? Steve announced yesterday our new AI services designed specifically for this journey. And this morning, Josh showed you something incredibly powerful, us doing this work on ourselves in our own customer zero environment. We're not just talking about business advisor agents and knowledge layers, we're building them, testing them, and proving they work on our own complexity first. 3 principles guide everything. First, insights across your complete data landscape are necessary. Second, realize value through production, scale, performance. And third, continuously innovating as your needs evolve. We're learning by doing, and we're ready to partner with you on your journey. AI autonomy isn't just another technology initiative, though. It's the defining challenge of the next decade. The organizations that reach level 3 autonomy, turning insights into action, will operate at a fundamentally different pace than their competitors. But listen, it's not about AI models. Those are becoming commodities. It's about business advisor agents that get your business built on an integrated foundation that makes autonomy possible. And here's the paradox. The complexity we talked about of your enterprise, that isn't a liability. Those thousands of tables, millions of relationships, with the right approach, that becomes your competitive moat. Because when you solve for that complexity, when you build the understanding on top of that integrated data, you create something your competitors can't easily replicate. At Teradata, we've been preparing for this moment for decades, building the integrated high-performance foundations, mastering enterprise complexity, and now creating the business advisor agents that turn complexity into autonomous intelligence. The question isn't whether autonomy is coming. It's whether you'll be driving it or watching from the sidelines. Let's build it together, and let's win together. Thank you so much.